Welcome everyone to the launch event for Medprompt Hackathon 2025. It's definitely great to have you guys here to join the launch event. I do apologize that we actually changed this event from like hybrid to a purely online event. Sorry about that because of some unforeseen circumstances. But then it's definitely glad to have all of you here. I am one of the organizers of this Medprompt Hackathon. My name is Lawrence. And then let me just also introduce the organizers of this hackathon event as well. First off, we have representatives from PolyU, Benny Leoung, and also Professor Marc Chataigner. I'm not sure if I pronounced this name correctly. And as well as the AI Hong Kong representative, Neil Tan. And then we are actually the co-organizers of this Medprompt Hackathon event. So definitely great to have all of you here. So today, I think let me just share my screen a little bit so that we know what today's agenda is. And definitely great to have all of you here. We actually have this is actually quite a big event. A lot of people have been supporting us apart from the co-organizers, AI Hong Kong, Revotech, as well as PolyU Design Plus. And we actually have a lot of supporters as well. We have Hong Kong Computer Society, Neuro-Oncology Society, Marshall Genomics, Pfizer, Hunan's Institute of Advanced Technology, BMSC, we have Sun Yat-sen Universities Alliance, Hackathon Weekly, 701 Shenzhen, and SheWires as well. And I also create a Shenzhen as well. So we actually have a lot of partners here, and definitely and of course, this event wouldn't be successful without the participants, I would say. So definitely welcome. So today, I think our agenda would be first, it will be an introduction about the game rules, as well as the overview of this whole competition, what we want to achieve. And then second, we'll invite PolyU's representative to talk a little bit about design thinking and AI. And then last, we'll have a call to research and to membership from AI Hong Kong. So it will be kind of like an event for about an hour. And then lastly, we'll actually have a group photo to commemorate this event. Okay, great. Now, so this competition is actually set up with the aim of actually to advance medical AI by assessing prompt design and prompt patterns, because nowadays we actually do see large language models as well as agents actually coming into the purview of the public eye. So we do understand that the power of AI is actually being realized, materialized in different kinds of fields, especially in the medical field where this is actually quite important. So this competition is actually aiming to advance such an endeavor. What we want to do is actually create a competition where everyone actually tries to do prompt engineering, prompt design on a very important task in the medical field. So the medical task is medical diagnosis, or what we call, so it's kind of like giving a diagnosis based on case statements. So the challenge here, or the hackathon event here, is actually to create a single prompt to feed into select small language models. So we're not going for big language models, or what we call large language models, LLMs. We're going for small language models due to, first off, due to actually increasing the challenge up a little bit. And also because a lot of these large language models already have quite advanced reasoning. What we want to do is also try to see if small language models can actually have such reasoning tasks as well. So this is actually the challenge. And then you'll be generating one-sentence medical diagnoses from 200 clinical case reports, all of which are actually real-world medical cases, and they're actually open source, open access from JAMA and JRE journals. So all these can actually be found outside as well, but the challenge here is to let the language model do the diagnosis. So I'm pretty sure there are some doctors in the audience as well. So it's not going to be you manually curating that. It's going to be the language model that's actually doing this kind of stuff. So what we want to do is actually to support healthcare professionals by demonstrating how AI can enhance the diagnostic reasoning and clinical decision-making in AI. The models that we have chosen are open source, and you can actually run them anywhere. And we'll also open some tutorials as well. We have actually selected 4 models. One is Gemma 3 27B, and the second Gemma 3 12B. Third is Qwen 3 14B, as well as last one is DeepSeek R1 14B. Now, you don't have to download the models and try themselves. Of course, you can, but we don't really need you to, because this is actually a low code competition, meaning that you don't really have to modify too much of the code. We'll provide you the code and tutorial to test your prompt design. So for the ones that have already been in in content, or have read the competition website, we have actually just uploaded the tutorial today. So if you go into Medprompt Hackathon 2025, you'll actually see in the competition tutorial page, you'll actually see the whole tutorial on how you would actually use these small language models, as well as some detailed guidelines. Today, I'm not going to go through all of them, just to let you know that we already have most of the stuff here already uploaded, so you can actually go back and check a little bit, and then see how you can actually do the competition. Today, I'm here actually to talk a little bit about what you need to submit, what's the data set, and also some recommendations, as well as some guidelines for the competition. So the data set, as I mentioned, this is actually from JAMA, and as well as from open source medical journals. So these are available for competition purpose as well. So we have actually made sure that these are actually accessible, and of course we have the rights to access these journals for this kind of competition. So, and these cases actually vary in complexity. We have long cases, small cases, and your task is actually to submit one single prompt for all these case diagnostics. So the point is, because if you our reasoning behind is actually to think of, hey, you know what, if we can customize a super prompt, let's just say, and then to apply it to every single kind of case, of course, to the best of our capabilities, I think we can actually see some very interesting prompt designs. So this is the data set, and you'll actually see the data set in the Kaggle competition website on the 25th. We'll send you a link, and then you'll actually see a case report CSV file with ID cases, and then we'll need you to submit what we call a diagnosis into the case report for submission. So the submission format will be something like this. You'll be generating a diagnosis here, and then you'll be adding your prompt into the first row, so that we actually know what your prompt is, and then we can evaluate later. The evaluation is actually quite simple. Each case is marked as a match or a no match, depending on the similarity between your answer and ground truth. We'll have a similarity metric to match between your answer and the ground truth. All of these actually can find ground truths. So, and of course, we'll also test your prompt to see whether it is actually the model and the prompt that's generating the answer, rather than just you submitting the answer manually. And of course, the final score will be based on the match rate, the proportion of case reports where your answer is considered a match. So we have 200 case reports here, so they will be out of 200. If you scored 50, 60, 70 out of 200, that's how we actually calculate the score. In cases of similar match rates among multiple teams, or same match rates, minor difference in answer similarity as well as prompt efficiency will be used to further differentiate the score. For example, both of which are scoring in let's just say everyone has 100 out of 200 match cases. So we'll actually see which one actually creates the most similar answers, because some of them will say fever, maybe some of them actually missed an R or missed a V, and then some actually generates the whole word fever, or of course that's not a diagnosis, but rather a symptom, or maybe let's just say anemia. So we'll actually calculate the differences in answer similarity, as well as the prompt efficiency. Prompt efficiency meaning if you use a very efficient prompt, we'll calculate in terms of token. For example, the longer the prompt, the more tokens you'll actually use. The shorter the prompt, the more efficient, and the less tokens you use, you'll actually have a higher score as well. We'll also release the evaluation metrics, update the evaluation matrix before the competition as well. So everyone will know what we are going to be evaluated on. And then answers are compared in a case-insensitive manner, so it doesn't matter whether you have like a capital case or a small a small letter case. It's actually fine as case-insensitive. And then leading or trailing white space is more is ignored. So, for example, the white space in front and at the back will just eliminate all white spaces. But then again, blank or missing answers will not be counted as match. So that's how we actually score the diagnostics. And team formation. So you're allowed to form teams. Each team, whether you're an individual or a team, one Kaggle account will actually be corresponding to either an individual or a team. And each team or each Kaggle account will be limited to 5 submissions per day. And you're not allowed to be both an individual and also a team. So you're either an individual or you're either a team member. You cannot submit two accounts, like 2 account submissions. We'll also definitely check the team member composition as well as cross-check the participant list as well. And of course, you're also allowed to merge teams. So for example, like you'll have two people as a team, but then again, you think that like the other team with 3 members actually will perform better if you 2 merge together. The team leader can actually do the merging. So in order to merge, I think like the combined team must also have like 2 things. One is a total submission count of less than or equal to maximum allowed. So for example, like every day you only have 5 submissions. So we'll actually have a limit towards the total submission count, as well as team size. I think like the team size is 10. So we can't have a team size of more than 10 people. But of course, like I think like this can be, this will be released in the website as well. And of course, like the team merger deadline will be 22nd of September. Our registration cutoff date will be 15th of September. So you can register first and then decide whether you want to merge your teams later. That will be also okay as well. And the start of the competition will be 25th of August. So you guys like will actually receive all this information like on the 25th of August. And the end of the competition will be on the 31st of October. So you'll have around 2 months to play with the competition. And last is the leaderboard. So there will be, for the ones that are not familiar with Kaggle, Kaggle is a machine learning platform where we actually score or at least host AI competitions. So it actually has a public leaderboard as well as a private leaderboard. The public leaderboard will be showing you the score at least on the public set. So we will not tell you which ones are private, which ones are public, which questions are public or private. So you'll need to see. Of course, you'll need to do your best to actually see to boost your score up a little bit. So I guess like you will actually see the public leaderboard in the duration of the competition. You'll actually see how much you're actually scoring, and then like it definitely like helps you to understand how well your prompt is actually doing, and then like it actually gives you some rapid feedback. However, we will not score your we will not rank you based on the public leaderboard, but on the private leaderboard. Because this is actually a kind of like a standing practice so that you don't cheat on the leaderboard. So you're not prompting or overfitting or what we call probing the leaderboard. So we'll be keeping some questions as what we call private. And then that's how we actually determine the official standing and the prizes as well. We'll release the private leaderboard until the competition deadline, and we'll also score you on the private leaderboard. So I think that's all for the competition. And then, of course, like if you've already registered, this is already like previous information. So we separate it into clinical professionals track and then general track. So we hope the doctors will be in the clinical professionals track, and the other data scientists, design thinkers, AI researchers, sorry, let me just type design thinkers, will be in the general track. So of course, like if you're daring enough, of course, we definitely encourage you to go into the clinical professional tracks. Of course, the doctors can also go into the general track, but we separate it because we want to have more participants, as well as we want to have like maybe a fair composition and also like a little bit like less bias, I would say. And then we also want to observe the prompt designs in these two different tracks as well, because we will think that people with or without domain knowledge may have different approaches to prompt design. So that's why we separate these two tracks. And of course, prizes will give cash prizes to the most accurate prompt design for each track based on the private leaderboard scoring. So the first prize for each track. So we have two tracks, each track, first prize will be 5,000 Hong Kong dollars. Second prize will be 2,000 Hong Kong dollars, and third prize will be 1,000 Hong Kong dollars. We'll be giving you the cash prizes at the end, and we'll also give a award ceremony at the end, maybe around November. So definitely please do bookmark the competition website. Stay tuned for email announcements. If you have any questions or any concerns, please do send an email to us. Our contact email is already posted on the website as well. Please do use that. And we'll also be planning to have some workshop sessions, maybe some team forming sessions as per need. Like, for example, like if you say that, hey, you know what, I have some, of course, we encourage you to form your teams first. But like if you're saying that, you know what, maybe we have some difficulties, we have some questions, please feel free to send us an email, shoot us an email. And then after the competition ends, we'll definitely plan an offline, like an offline, like a meeting, gathering, and a prize awarding ceremony for the lucky winners as well. So that's it for my presentation. Thank you. I think like any questions from the audience, I would say. You can type into the chat, I would say.
Lawrence,
yes.
I think one of the participants would like to know whether they can share these, to have the copy of the slide that you just showed.
No problem. That will be okay. We'll be sending out the PowerPoint through email for the ones that to actually every participant as well in the competition. No problem. And all this information can actually be found in the competition website as well. So all of this is already documented. No
How about the whole launch event? I saw that you are recording it, right?
Yes, we're recording the. We'll also give the recording out as well. No problem.
Okay, great. Thanks.
No problem. Any questions to ask? Anyone? Okay, it seems not a lot of questions. I guess definitely feel free to ask questions. And next, I think we'll pass the time to Marc to give a little bit of a talk for design thinking, and also a little bit some of the insights that we can have for prompt design. Marc, please. Thank you.
Thanks, Lawrence. Yeah, feel free to keep on asking questions in the chat as we speak, and we'll make sure to answer or to take those. Thanks, Lawrence, for opening the floor and showing all the structure of the competition. I'm gonna share my screen. Let me know when you see it. This one will be the screen.
You see it? No problem.
Oops, coming back here. So some of you in the audience might be wondering, why do we have some designers in the prompt engineering competition? I guess this will be part of the presentation here, trying to explain or show why design has a say or could learn something and could contribute to this work. I'm stepping in tonight for Professor Johan Horn, who was scheduled but unfortunately cannot come tonight. My purpose is quite simple. I try to encourage the designers and design students in the audience to dare and have their hands dirty and take part of this competition and learn by doing it, and to encourage non-designer potentially to onboard designers in their team. It's not mandatory, but just an encouragement. To do so, I will do three things. I will just come back to why prompt design matters for designers, what design can bring to a prompt engineering competition, and perhaps how to team up with a designer if this is in your mind. To go quickly, I guess you all have heard and seen how AI tools and AI powerful tools are replacing potentially jobs, and how large corporations are banking on productivity, and in doing so are threatening a lot of activities, including designers. From a designer's perspective, it's not necessarily new. Lawrence was speaking about design thinking. Like 15 years ago, when designers were hearing the term design thinking, they were thinking like, oh, we're gonna be replaced. Like anyone can be trained and be developing and proposing some design approaches. As it turned out, design thinking was a great opportunity for designers actually to have the design mindset spread within organization, and to have organization rely more on designers who are trained and practice to bring in some different aspects of their practice. So the AI will replace some jobs. At the same time, it's an opportunity to do different things differently and to back on it. When we think of product owners who will rely on AI tools to do wireframing and testing and deploying, we can see how design teams can also rely on the same tools to maybe bypass some of the developers and do things themselves. And this is what we see already today in some design teams, like Grab as an example, where they develop internally their own model to generate illustrations by having the right prompt and learning how to do the right prompt, but also how to train their model in that case, in order to get the right style, the right messaging on the illustration. It leads illustrators' job to be potentially replaced, but they also see it as a displacement because they are still part of the process in different ways. Or when design teams are also developing new product or services that includes AI. Similarly here, the question is like, how do we ensure that end users will have the right ability and literacy to do the prompting that will empower them rather than being lost or being not manipulated, but like subjected by a particular type of prompt. So it raises a lot of questions within the design space, but it's a space where designers are actively exploring and making things happen. Last year, Professor Lee, the Dean of the School of Design, gave a talk when he was highlighting how the AI and Gen AI tools out in the public these days are mainly focusing on the second half of the double diamond, the solution space, when it comes to ideation, to prototyping, to deployment, testing, and everything, which leads designers to be more effective on the left-hand side on this diagram, which is the problem space, as we call it, where we have to define like what is the problem, what is the question, what is the ethics, what are the literacy in AI that will be needed there. So there are a lot of questions there that becomes more of a focus for designers, and this is where the School of Design is heading in part of it. So yes, AI does change the design process already for how do we do research, how do we prototype and everything. And it's also an opportunity for designers to change their own processes and to enlarge it. It does change the design product, what is meant in it, and how do we ensure that end users will find it. It does change how do we organize, how do design organizations when we deploy some agents, how do we ensure that they follow the right policy, how do we have the right oversight, how do we make sure that teams are still advancing at the same speed and not working in silos. It does change the design education. How do we teach about design? How do we teach with AI? How do we teach design with AI? And it does change even our end users. When you think of it, our end users will soon be equipped with their own agent as interface with systems or services. So from an organization perspective or from a brand perspective, suddenly your end users is not necessarily a human, but it's potentially like an agent or a bot that you will need to understand and to lure to interact with you. So all of these topics are topics where faculty members are actively working on in different sectors, in retail, in gaming, in hospitality, in medical aspect as well. I do encourage you to engage with all the faculty members if you want. They're also developing some interesting partnership with large corporations like NVIDIA and others. If I go back quickly to our topic tonight, which is about prompt engineering, I just want to share a few thoughts on what design can bring to the prompt engineering mindset. So some of the maybe lesser known designer superpowers that could be interesting. One of them is designers work with context. Usually we see design as producing new objects, but actually the designers will work heavily within the context, from the context in order to help objects find their context and have meanings. So within the particular context of prompt engineering, you can see the designers being very, having a heavy look on what is the context embedded within the data and the particular way to make sense of it. So, designers are also creative, as we know, but the creativity is not necessarily like to produce new ideas. It's also a very creative way to look at challenges and to figure out ways to resolve them, to find the red thread that makes sense out of a large, complex data sets or other things. So if you were to team up with designers, you could bank on this creativity as well. One of the superpowers is also empathy, not necessarily empathy with end users or humans, but also empathy in how objects circulate and how objects make sense of their context, as I mentioned before. In the context of prompt engineering, designers might help you to try to feel like how does this model thinks and how to make sense of it and thinking on his behalf and go beyond. Designers are also great at prototyping and not necessarily only at doing wireframing and A/B testing in order to test ideas. But as a team, if you come up with some hypothesis on what goes right, what goes wrong, designers can help you quickly figure out ways to test this hypothesis and to solve them and to move along. Designers are also great at what we call evidencing or priming, which is not only about visualizing or representing ideas or future states. It's also like how to represent a situation in a way that guides a particular usage. And in the context of the prompt design, it will be also like how to make sure that the language model is behaving in a particular way, and you are avoiding the models to do certain things. So the priming is one of the activities that might be very interested to reduce noise. And another aspect, the last one I wanted to share today, is the question of ethics, not only in terms of compliance or how to align the output to be relevant, but also like how to spot in the team and the way you approach the question, the biases that you might bring in. Designers might help you to identify this and remove a lot of noise that you will have. So this is one of the other things that you could have support from designers. If I go down into this particular prompt design for medical AI, as Lauren said, it's quite straightforward. The output is a one-sentence diagnosis and rated on accuracy and efficiency. And the input is to prompt a small language models that you will have to make sense out of 200 clinical cases that you will be given, and considering limited compute or fine tuning, for instance, of these models. And in the public, there is already a lot of good practices to do prompt engineering on how to assign roles, for instance, within the prompt for the model to have a particular lens or particular perspective or the way to speak, how to provide context to the model, how to specify the format of the response you want to have, etc. Those are things you might be all already aware of. I just wanted to imagine to go one step further, if you were to use some design mindsets. For instance, if you adopt an interaction designer mindset, they are very good at recognizing patterns in order to build design system, for instance. And the language model are very good at pattern recognition as well, but they are not necessarily good at making sense of it. Giving the meaning is something which is out of these models. The interaction designer will be very good at helping to find what are the relevant nodes and the minimum required patterns to make sense, or how to orient the model by doing pattern priming. or how to craft the efficient outputs with proper grammar, tone, or the macro copy in the end as well to refine and iterate. If you were to adopt a social designer mindset, just as an exercise, they are pretty expert in decoding the context in order to have inclusive user participation. What it means in that case is that they might identify biases in the how the teams is approaching the context and help you figure out what are the inherent noises that we have to reduce those, or to make some evidence-based refinements when you are doing iteration, or to improve team collaboration as well. And as an example, if you were to use a service designer's mindset, who is quite seasoned on that, figuring out the end-to-end context and the opportunity mapping within that context, they might help you to locate the valuable instances and the relevant situation in data sets that actually will have inference on the model on the output, or improve the way the teams is iterating by logging the miss, the wrong, the hallucination, and identifying quickly what are the effective parameters on which to run testers. It's not mandatory, as Lauren said, no obligation to do teaming. If you were to do so with designers, I would encourage you not to onboard designers for the end of the project to refine the copy or the output, but to have them from the beginning onwards to work with you on the context, to frame creative constraints, to go and discover quicker how it will go. And in a nutshell, I just want to say to designers and students who might be part of the call, you have plenty to bring to the table. Don't let the IT or technical jargon put you off. Just enjoy, get your hands dirty, and go with it. And we are here to support if you need anything. And for non-designers, yeah, have a thought and either other designers or try to adopt a designer's mindset to get creative on the way to do the prompt design. And this will be it from my side. Similarly, like open for question, if any, or else I will give it back to Lawrence or Benny if you want to add anything.
Thank you so much, Marc. Does the floor have like any questions? Any questions from the audience? If no, I think like definitely thank you again, Marc, for sharing those thoughts and definitely like those principles of prompt design. I think like if anyone has actually any follow-up questions, please do feel free to also contact us to talk about stuff. And last but not least, we'll have the chairperson of AI Hong Kong and representative of AI Hong Kong to present like talk about like the AI community as well as like AI Hong Kong's mission, as well as a call to research and membership. So Neil, please. Neil, I think you're muted.
Yeah, can you allow me to share? Let's see here.
Here we go.
There you go. Okay, thank you. So first off, thanks, Lawrence, for putting together this fantastic hackathon. Thank you to PolyU and the team for hosting us. I think this is a fantastic opportunity for us to bring the entire ecosystem together. So my name is Neil Tan. I'm the founder and the chairman of AIHK, or Artificial Intelligence Association of Hong Kong. Is this moving? Is that moving? Just want to make sure. Nope. There it is. Okay. So just a quick introduction about AIHK. So it's a very young organization, roughly about 8 months old. We only launched in November last year, but we've seen significant traction inside of the marketplace. So the overarching premise that we saw inside of the marketplace is at the top side are great associations that are technology focused. Mostly universities, professors, PhDs. On the bottom side, a lot of consumer application associations, but in the center, where all the different corporates and institutions operate, there was a gap. And essentially, inside of this white space, we decided to take that position. So AIHK really focuses on corporates and institutions. How do we develop innovation inside of that space? Target is commercialization and use cases inside of different sectors or cross sectors or cross functions, and ultimately drive innovation inside of Hong Kong, and also build Hong Kong into a global AI hub. The way that we actually operate is on a PEC model. So in this type of association, PEC, policy and governance, so a lot of engagement with government, ministries and departments and so forth. Really, when we look at the corporates and institutions, what they want to do is have a fair amount of degrees of freedom to operate and using AI inside of their businesses. So at the end of the day, a lot of the corporates and institutions want a 5-lane highway. Government, if they put in the guardrails, they'll end up with a 1-lane highway. What we want to do is make sure we end up somewhere in between, or at least there is a platform to discuss or share those views inside of the marketplace. So that's really what policy and governance is. Ecosystem and community is how do we engage all of the different parts inside of Hong Kong, whether it's all the incubators or accelerators and so forth. Collaboration and partnership is about a lot of the innovation between large corporates and also a lot of the startup community that is really driving a lot of the innovation and ensuring that there are opportunities for them to adopt this type of new technology inside of the corporates and institutions. And then last but not least is knowledge and education. So things that Lawrence and Marc have already mentioned is, how do we bring up to speed this type of technology for the masses, right? And get people into it and exposed to it and leveraging it inside of their day-to-day business and also personal life. So that's what the PEC model is really focused on. Some different highlights of the PEC model is, our engagement across the entire ecosystem. So you'll see inside of this slide a lot of the folks that are a part of the association, so the advisory board members, but you'll also see folks from LegCo, like Duncan Choi, who's head of INT. You have people from Cyberport and also STP. We also have different regulators like Financial Services and Treasury Bureau, as well as some other parts of the ecosystem like Hong Kong Trade Development Council, Invest Hong Kong, and Oasis. So we bring this entire platform to really bring the ecosystem together and see if we can collaborate and operate to develop more and more innovation inside of Hong Kong. How we do that is very different from other associations. So we are sector agnostic. Essentially, we are a technology association. And the idea now is that AI is too early in the game to be sector specific, and that the opportunity really lies in learning from each other. In fact, you'll see later on some of the board members, but our head from FinTech inside of Standard Charter, he said it best, Dominic Maffei. At the first board meeting, we all shared different views of things that we're doing inside of our companies and our institutions. And he said, I learned so much from hearing from each one of you what you're doing, and I know what I'm going to try inside of SC. But the truth is that without AIHK, I would have never met you, right? So that's really the power of this network, power of the platform, and really the purpose of why we put together this association. So covering everything from banking, finance, insurance, legal and professional, energy, utilities, industrials, telcos, logistics, retail, all across the board. And we bring all the AI experts really from those different spaces to the table, to this platform to really share their learnings. Like I was saying earlier, it's a cross-sector, cross-function association. So things that you learn, let's say from legal and professional services, leveraging a specific contact is, let's say, contract review. That could easily be, leveraged in any other sector for, let's say, property and real estate lease agreements or insurance policies and so forth. So once we learn that from other places, we can adapt it for our particular sector, whether there's a different regulatory and regulatory and compliance issues or other, right? So let's see here. Oops. So just a quick snapshot of some of the advisory board members, just to give you a little bit more color about who's inside of this association. So again, focused on corporates and institutions, but how I built this particular board is the criteria is number one, Hong Kong top 100 companies. Number two is C-suite executives. And number three is they own the AI strategy and execution for their company. So again, cross-sector. So you have folks like Andrew from Cathay Pacific. We have JP Morgan. We have Standard Charter. We also have AXA Insurance. We have Leoung, which is obviously the large trading house. PwC, Hong Kong Telecom, DBS, Tessellation, Zhou Sang, which is the large jewelry chain, Town Gas, so energy and utilities, Clifford Chance, and also Prudential. And then we also have Meta, but not the LLM side, but actual Meta. So Yannick is responsible for optimizing the algorithms for things like Facebook and so forth. So and also Dentsu, which is like a global top 5 advertising firm out of Japan, $6 billion US. And then finally we have Animoca Brands, which is one of the largest unicorns in the Web3 space. So that's kind of the advisory board, and it's a cross section of the entire sort of all the different industries. But on top of that, so we've got a team of 20 in terms of the board. We've also deployed 15 new committees, cross-sector, cross-function as well, covering 5 inside of financial services and also 10 inside of non-financial services. So what we call is general industries. And the general industry, so financial services are asset management, banking and finance, capital markets, insurance, regulatory and compliance. On the non-financial or on the general industry side, we have things like retail, healthcare, logistics, transportation, those different things. So the idea again is, how do we go cross-sector? But now we're going much deeper into these different sectors to really identify the commercialization and different use cases in each one of those areas. Now, on top of that, we're in the process of actually launching 3 new areas. 2 additional committees. One is inside of cybersecurity, and the second one is inside of Web3. And the other one is really in Women's Council. So what we identified inside of the market, not only inside of the association, but also inside of the market, is there isn't a central place for women that are inside of AI. And also, there isn't a central place to encourage women to go into AI. So even if we look at our own leadership team, we have a total inside of the board and also the committees roughly around 50. Only 10 are women. So what we're trying to do is close this gender gap with this Women's Council. So we're in the process of recruiting for that. And at the same time, introducing new program for that particular council. And then also recruiting for this cybersecurity and also Web3 space. So as far as the Women's Council is concerned, we already have 10 that are inside of the leadership team. So people from AXA, from Zhou Sang, from Town Gas, from UBS, HSBC, and so forth. But we welcome other women to apply coming from that type of background. Last but not least, we're also in the process of launching an AI Safety and Governance Council. And that will be targeting a lot of the university professors and PhDs inside of the market, inside of this area, to really develop a very robust, sort of framework around this area on a unified basis. So that's kind of yet another development inside of the association. So yeah, if you are interested in joining the association, feel free to get in touch. Our website, aihhongkong.org, or drop a message to contact@aihhongkong.org or scan this QR code. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Neil. Any questions from the audience? If not, then I think like definitely thank you. Like last we'll have a group photo. If you guys like from the audience like turn on your camera to participate in the group photo, that'll be great. Like you know, turn on your camera, that'd be great. Hi Sean, hello. Nice to meet you. Any guys? Yay, great. Hayes, yes, nice to meet you. Great, 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 great. Anyone else turning on your camera? No? Feeling shy, maybe? A bit shy. I mean, like, we'll definitely organize an offline meet after this, like after the competition. Hey, Ball, right? Hey, nice to meet you. I guess like, yeah, I think like, we'll take a group photo. Like, we'll just say 3, 2, 1, smile. Hey, oh, Michael, nice. Okay, great. Thanks. I guess like we'll meet each other afterwards, like after the competition. Like feel free to send us an email, and and definitely thank you so much for coming. I think like that will be the end of this launch event. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. See ya. Oh, let's see. Is it common for
So everybody.
Oh, actually, yeah. If you have questions, feel free to stay back and like ask us questions. It's okay. Like I think like the ones that don't really have questions, it's fine to leave. Like Ball, if you want to unmute your mic and just ask, please do ask away. So the question is, AI experts working with designers in other countries, right? I would say that like it's actually still a very nascent field, very new. A lot of people are still thinking about ways to actually work with other domain experts as well as designers as well. I think like I think Marc and Benny definitely have like the expertise as well as the authority to speak on behalf of this matter. So yeah, Marc or Benny, any comments on that?
Well, I think thanks, Lawrence, and particularly the SD Plus of the school design would really like to, bridge these, make this opportunity possible. That's why we've been talking to Lawrence about really organizing an offline physical, closing event of this hackathon competition. So I think that, please wait for the news and, take notes of the any information update from the the website of the hackathon, this particular hackathon competition. Mac, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, just to the question, it is not common to respond to your question. It's not yet common. But there are a lot of discussions from different sides, from the designers. From the side of designers, I have seen and heard many in Europe and in the UK, where I was before being in Hong Kong, where designers are exploring a lot on how to be part of the discussion and be part of the way the tools are being used, be part of the way the tools are being framed on the question of ethics as well. But they are not necessarily always invited, so there are discussions there. From the technology side, I could see that some instances they were calling on designer when it was coming to business transformation, meaning that when an organization was deploying some agents and some multi-agent systems within this organization to automate some processes, designers were brought in at that time to help map the complexity and the system and to help make sense of it, because many of the things that were happening beneath would become invisible or misunderstandable for many people. And the HR teams were asking designers to help them make sense of it, to have a more human and tangible way to understand collectively what was happening. So there are instances, but it's not yet common.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah, I think
very
the purpose of this association might be a way to develop that.
yes.
Great question.
Okay, great. Second question is, I know there is a conversation designer job title. Yes, there are conversation designers, AI designers, but unfortunately, they're mostly foreign job titles. Not a lot of these job titles are still relevant or prevalent in Hong Kong right now. Like mostly they're still in the form of IT consultants or like service consultants. So but like the whole point of this hackathon and the like following up community research as well as inviting all the community partners to come here is actually to push forward different kinds of AI opportunities. That's what we want to do. So of course, like it may not be relevant now or maybe prevalent now. I think I think we can have some hope in the near future. Maybe not just in the medical field, maybe in insurance and banking, and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, great question. Yeah, great observation as well. Is there any chance the data from this company used for future research? Yes. Okay. So thank you, Scott, for the question. Yes, the data will be, so first off, all of the data will be deemed as open access and will be licensed under an MIT license. Your prompts, as well as the data here, is all under MIT license. So it's free up to the creation as long as it's cited. So so you'll be under the Medprompt Hackathon citation. That's second is that to what extent is that we'll not collect any kind of personal data. So you'll feel free to just like create a cool team name without any of your personal information. So definitely this is not going to be referenced to your PID. I would say personal identifiable information, PII. Okay, so hope that answers your question. And I would definitely have a I would say a call for everyone to come and join us. I would say in our endeavor to do AI research in the medical community. So shoot us an email if you're interested, and if you have any kind of cool ideas, interesting ideas, we can definitely discuss. I think Neil, Marc, Benny, we are all very excited, and I do see some colleagues in the audience as well. So I definitely would encourage you guys to contact us. That'll be great. Okay, Ball again. This is okay. Thank you so much, Ball, for the comments. Yes, I would say that it will be more and more important. That's why we actually want to host this competition. A difference between general track and the medical expert track. So the whole point about separating two tracks is one, we do think that the prompt design philosophy or the design philosophy will be different if you have or don't have domain knowledge. Let's just say, for example, I think Marc actually gave a pretty nice idea, is that when you design a prompt, you'll need to have, for example, a role. You'll need to understand that role and describe that role in words or in text, and then let it be ingested by the language model. So therefore, if you were to design a prompt, it will change in context, it will change in design based on what you understand. If you're not a doctor, it's hard for you to write stuff up as a doctor. Like, for example, you'll be writing very hard, or what we call differential diagnoses. I don't think that's actually in the reach of the general audience. That's why we actually separated that. We do encourage doctors to just join the medical expert track or the clinical professional track, and the general audience to join the general audience track. But of course, now we are not limiting it to just be two tracks. You can cross join. You can join the general track, but then again, you can only join one of those tracks. So definitely just stay in the general track if you think you're just a general AI practitioner, or if you think that, you know what, I'm feeling adventurous, I'm not a doctor, but I still want to join the medical expert tracks, that'll be fine as well. That's why we actually separate into two tracks. But currently right now, it's just it's just a division. We have not enforced any kind of mandatory division to say, you know what, you're a doctor, you must join that track. So just there for a reference, and then but then again, it's still free for all right now. Okay, yep. Hope that answers your question, Ball. Okay, great. So any more questions? I think we still have some time, 1 or 2 more minutes. Any ground truth examples? Yes, we do. But for the fairness of the competition, we will not release the ground truth examples nor the competition questions until 25th of August. I think please do pay attention to any email announcements. Once you actually go into the Kaggle competition, you'll see the questions themselves. If you're really interested, go into JAMA, and then just go read a clinical case trials, and then just go see what would a standard medical case report be. Usually we extract the abstracts or like a kind of like the clinical case summary. We will not give you the whole PDF report. So it will just be a summary of the clinical case report. So it will be around 200 to 300 words long. So around, I would say, a few hundred tokens. It will be within the context of any kind of like language model right now. So expect something like that. If you want a little bit more description, it will be something like you'll have the symptoms of a patient of a certain disease, and then they will have some sort of like a visit to the clinician to describe their symptoms as well, and also some of the lab results. For example, they have like some sort of like a malnutrition or some kind of deficiency or something like that. It will be all described in the report. So it's going to be like 200, 300 words. And that is actually what doctors, look at daily. So they write up clinical case response. I'll be maybe in a different format, but that's what you will expect to see, I would say. Okay. Hope that answers your question, Simon. Okay, great. Could we have the recording of this meeting? Yes, no problem. I will send everyone the recording of this meeting as a link to everyone in the mass emails. No problem, W. Okay, I think like now it's 7 o'clock. I think like definitely thank you everyone for participating in this event. And definitely thank you, Mark, Benny, and Neil. I guess like we'll arrange another meeting to discuss like future collaborations, and definitely thank you so much for your time to come and join, and definitely have this joyous event. So I guess like yeah, thank you, Hayes. I think
Thanks
thank you
so much.
guys.
Thanks.
Okay, guys.
Work.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thanks
so
a lot
much.
for the
Thanks,
work in
guys.
setting this up.
Yeah.
All the
Benny,
best.
thanks,
Bye.
Mark.
Yeah, talk to you
Thanks,
soon.
Lawrence.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.